special family with me, a unique family, and I know quite a bit about them, but I have a lot that I don't know. So I'm hoping that I'm going to make some discovery tonight, and some of you would think you know them a long time from even growing up. You're going to be surprised at something that you find out that you actually didn't know. I have the Blair family, and it includes Brian, Marlene, Brianna, Adania, and Bristol. And when I come back, I am going to be talking with them.
ORB Ministry presents Let's Talk with the Doc. Grace Without Borders podcast. A thought for you. Ask Pastor. And a whole lot more. You never know what's next or who will join the conversation.
All right, my friends. So here we are, and I am excited to welcome brother Minister Brian, Blair, Marlene, Minister now too, and Brianna and Dania and Bristol, and the bees are all over the place, you know. So welcome to the Blair family. Great to see you. Good to have you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
How has your day been today? I just checking on how your day has been today. Preparing for tonight, you know, say, okay, who had the bubbles? Who had the butterflies? Who was like, I don't know what's gonna be. Who had butterflies? Maybe the children had butterflies. Brianna has been on here before, so
No, I wasn't nervous. I was excited to come on the Let's
Yeah,
Talk.
me
I
too.
was.
all right. So we are all excited. So they all six of us are excited to be here. All right. So, you know, normally I like to go back and track back and see what life has been for you coming up. I know when I saw you guys, yeah, I see your pastor popping on there, like first person popping up there, right? So, all right. Welcome, Dr. Daly. Good to have you, sir. Thank you for joining me tonight. All right. I'd like to trace back a little bit to find out your just journey story. So, where do I go first? I think I've got to go to Brian because I think if principle is in order, if principle has been in order, it had to be the man who initiate this thing. So, Brian, you take the lead and tell us, you know, where did this start? Tell me about you first of all, where you were born, what was it like, you know, childhood, growing up. Give a little brief synopsis of your own story.
Oh, sure. So I was born in Jamaica, in Kingston, Jamaica.
You sure that is real Kingston, right? Not just where Kingston everybody
No,
come
no,
from.
the real Kingston. We're talking about, we're talking about downtown
Okay,
Kingston.
all right, all
You
right, all
know,
right, all right.
so we're talking about Coronation Market.
Oh, Lord of mercy. That is as
Up
downtown as you get. All right, we
yes,
get it. We
Queen
get it.
Street, Queens, you know, Queen Street, and
That is downtown indeed.
that is downtown indeed. So,
Yeah.
I was born in Kingston. I grew up in Kingston. Um, we went to, uh, a small church in Smith Lane in Kingston. But, before, that Christian journey, obviously, as a young kid coming up, needless to say, you get a lot of trouble in church and to stay quiet in church and to, you were very, very active. Now they would call us, that we're hyper or attention deficit, ADD. But, we were full of energy and just, as as kids, you always want to have fun, and so grew up, you could say, in the ghetto, in the heart of the ghetto, and really exposed to a lot of things
Mhm.
as a young man, young child growing up, and it kind of helped to shape your outlook on life and kind of what you want to get out of life and how you want to care for family just because of the things that you didn't have, and the shelter you want to provide for your kids just because of the environment you grew up in, and you knew the value of raising your children in a secured home. So I really grew up in Jamaica, volatile communities, during the time also when there was you're talking about wars and fighting between different group, and so it was in the middle of 1980. I recall being, in living on Gold Street, and you have one faction versus the other faction, and I was on the border, and so 1980 was a very, very volatile time, and you witness a lot of crazy things as a young child, growing up, and just to survive that, that was really, you could say, just a tremendous thing. And God kept us safe as a family during that time. And as I, grew up, um, went to Calabar All School.
So
Um,
you're a Calabar guy, all right?
well, that's it, the all age, not the high school, but the all age school, the all age school.
Okay, okay.
And we went from there to Kingston Technical High School,
All right.
and so so all during that time, I'm just grateful that God kept me, so I was able to pass my exam at all age school. There's a whole story behind that, and then was able to go to Kingston Technical High School. It is during that time, I gave my heart to the Lord. It was during the time of Hurricane Gilbert, when the whole, that was my first experience as a child growing up. Experience a hurricane. We have always heard about it, and we thought it was fun. And so, but when Gilbert came, it wasn't that fun because you saw roofs flying off your neighbor's house, and so it was during that time I really prayed to the Lord. I said, if you spare my roof, I'm going to serve you.
Oh, wow.
but
Oh,
I
wow.
but I can tell you, as a young man, right? As a young man, I can tell you, I saw my roof literally went up and came back down. So I knew that God answered my prayer. He kept his end of the bargain, and so I kept my end of the bargain. And
Wow.
so that's when my journey started as a young man, and then we started to become more focused on, as a young believer in church. Went to Smith Lane. That's where my wife attended. So we both attended the church from we were kids.
I'm gonna come back to I'm gonna come back to that. How many siblings you have?
How many? Oh, so I have there's seven of us. So I have four brothers and two sisters.
And where you fall?
I'm the middle. I'm the
In the
middle
middle.
of yes, of
And
everyone. I'm
and
the
and and, I-
middle
and, I,
child.
and, I, and I'm just thinking how much trouble you cause those ahead and behind you.
Believe me, quite quite a
Quite
bit,
a bit.
quite a
I
bit,
I
quite a bit.
I have no reason to doubt that. And you telling me about the hyper in school, I could envision that in church. I could envision
Full of
that.
energy.
Because even now, a man with family, a man who has been married for how long and have children, I still think you have not you have not exhausted all of that energy yet. So I can imagine back then. All right, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. Let's hear you. Yes, your Marlene's story. Where were you born, and what's your story from the beginning, the early
Okay.
stages?
Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So, I was born in Kingston too. Well, specifically Rockford
Oh,
of Woodward Road. Yeah, Rockford. It's near, close enough to Warwick Hill. So, but Rockford a little bit further than,
so both of you come from bad places in town.
yeah. Well, Rockford wasn't that bad, but yes, Warwick
But,
Hill was
but all
very.
the hills just above Rockford.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
anything
What
fall out,
part?
anything fall down from the hill from up there, they come down to Rockford.
Well, I guess you could say that. But then I also and then we also moved to Almond Town,
Oh,
and then where else did we go? And also Raytown. So I too
Lord of
grew up
mercy.
in
All of them,
volatile
all
communities.
of them towns, all of them
Yes,
towns.
all
All right, go
yes.
ahead.
But the thing I can say is that I can testify to the goodness of God because I am not a product of those places as people typically think, okay, you are raised in the ghetto, so this is your outcome, this is how you are destined to be. So I'm a testimony of the goodness of God, and so yes, so I was born in there. I was raised, I was in Rockford until I was a teen, then we moved to Raytown and grew up not with a lot, but always I was raised in a Christian home and always very, very aware of the goodness of God to us. There are many times we didn't have electricity or running water, and this wasn't in the country, this is right there in Kingston. But for
Wow.
different reasons, we at points we were in tenement, what we would call tenement yards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even if you pay your part of the electric bill, if the others don't pay it, then they're going to cut that light off. And
Wow.
so there were many nights, even during CXC, when I was studying by the light of a lamp. We had the lamp, the home sweet home lamp, those
All the
shades.
home sweet home. Tell me.
Yes, the good old home sweet home, studying and all of that. So it was a story for me of poverty, but one that was through and throughout laced with the goodness of God. Because I saw his provision, in the middle of that poverty, I saw how the Lord really worked and orchestrated things for my good, where I could see, I mean, some of the things, or even just the outcome, it had to be the hand of God. Just, from where we're at. I mean, I remember even being 15, and I mean, this is in Kingston, and having to go to a nearby park to get water because they had cut the water off. So it was, there are parts of my upbringing that was tough. But as I said, the Lord has been faithful and he continues to be faithful even now.
Wow. I
So
I I don't know that I've ever heard that much detail of your guys' upbringing. I think most of what I heard about you, that we will get into that later on, was like, okay, college days. I heard about the college days, and going away to study,
yeah,
which we will get a little bit about. But that is interesting because you could never. It's always a don't judge the book by the cover, because who would have thought, if people look at you and Brian now, and your family, and what your family has become, and your achievements, and look at you now, to trace back your early beginnings, one would maybe struggle to conclude that, okay, Raytown, Rockford, uh, Coronation Market, all of this stuff that Brian was telling me about, in that circle of coming up, it tells you that, I think the Bible, they ask, what the question was, can any good thing come out of Nazareth?
that's right.
Yeah, can any good thing
Yes.
come out of Nazareth? And say, wow, yes. And the answer is yes, indeed. Good things can come out of Nazareth. So when I look at this couple and their family, I can say yes, great things can come from anywhere. All right, tell me about how many siblings you have, Marlene. Did I miss something? How many siblings you have? Okay, so I see we have a little bit of a delay in our transmission. Can you hear me over there? Okay, can you hear me now?
Um, where
I know we got our internet a little bit sway, so can you hear me? Oh, don't tell me we got some bad reception. Yes, the internet cut. I can see that the internet drawed on a little bit. My friends, hopefully that everything will swing itself back into place. I am talking to the Blair family up in Dansville, up in the Western New York neighborhood. I hope that their internet will flick back in. That's what happened when you are in some locations. Yes, Pastor Daly, you can hear me. I'm trying to see if they can hear me. The internet went down a little bit. I can see the reception here. I hope it comes back into place in a minute. Oh, my friends, I am excited about it. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I hope that everything come back well for them. Oh, that is not good. Yeah, you can hear me. I was talking about to them because I know you can hear me. I was thinking about the Blair family. I think they're not hearing me right now because the internet. I can see the internet went down a little bit. Okay, here they're coming back. Here they're coming back. All right, all right. Stay.
yeah,
Oops. Okay. It went and it come back. So let's see. Can you hear me still now?
Yeah, we
yes,
can.
we're
Okay,
hearing.
so your internet is kind of riding a wave. It goes from green to red to yellow. Now it's green. So let's see if it stays there. That can happen with the wind. All right. So all right. Now we're back and I can hear you and you can hear me. So let us continue about you. So my question was when we got a little bit shaky is how many siblings you have, Sister Marlene?
I have two sisters. There's well, for my mom and my dad together, there's three girls. My father has two other children, another girl and a son. But we didn't I wasn't raised with them, so I knew them as an adult, but we're not really very, very close. So I other two sisters, but there's actually five of us, three for both mother and father, and two for my dad.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So all right, we get so tell me about your Christian side now. At what age did you become a Christian? Where did your Christian journey begin?
So I got baptized at the age of 9, but I was saved before that. I mean, we were raised in the church and I wanted to be baptized. I think I was probably 3 when I wanted to be baptized. I remember I would go to my pastor and I would just show him fingers and I would say, I want to be baptized when I'm this or when I'm that. And I would just show the fingers. And, but they wanted for me to wait. And when I was 9, and I always wanted to be baptized, and they thought I was just too young. And I remember when I was 9, and they were having this baptism, and I got dressed in my white dress for baptism, even though the pastor hadn't agreed, because I think he said, wait until you're a little bit older. And I remember this evangelist at the church. I'll never forget her, Evangelist Ferguson. She's like, she can talk, she's going to school, she can get baptized. She's giving her testimony, because even though they wouldn't baptize me, I would get up in church and be giving testimony like the adults, like you wouldn't know from I was 7 6. I was like, you won't baptize me, but I'm gonna give my testimony. So by the time I got to 9, this evangelist was like, what are you all waiting on? She's gonna get baptized tonight. And so in fact, the thing, my parents were not even there. It was a baptismal service one Sunday evening. And and I got dressed. I remembered the baptism was like about 4, and then the church service was going to be at 7. So my parents were still, I think, I'm not sure if they were planning to go. Well, my mom at that time, I'm not sure she was planning to go to the baptismal service that day. She was going to the night service on Sunday. And she was sleeping, taking afternoon naps, because those days church would go on until 11 at night, 12 at night. And then, the morning service would be dismissed at 3 or whatever. So she was taking or cleaning up or doing something. And I distinctly remember going to my neighbor's house and asking her to comb my hair. I was like, could you fix my hair up for me? and I got my white dress, and I don't even know how but I left the house and I went to the church. I think I went with neighbors because we had, friends nearby. And I went to church because I was determined I was going to be baptized. And in my mind, I was thinking maybe it was my parents, why, or my mom. My mom was always a firm Christian, but I don't know why. But I was determined I wanted to be baptized. And so I just got my white dress on, got a neighbor to comb my hair, and went to the church. And the pastor's like, "But I wasn't expecting you. Where's your mom?" And that's when the evangelist said, "No, she's been testifying. She's been doing, everything." And I think they eventually called my mom, and then she came and witnessed it. But I mean, it was just one of those. So at 9, I was baptized. And from then, it's been, no looking back for me. Of course, it doesn't mean I have been perfect, but the Lord has helped me. And for me, that's the path, just trying to follow the Lord. So it's
Amen.
been since then.
We won't even touch the perfect side because
Mhm.
that's all of our stories. So that's all of our
Exactly.
stories. None perfect, no, not one. He that is without sin, let him first cast a stone. So we're not even gonna talk about the
Yes.
perfective side of that. All right. So now, brother Brian, we're gonna get to the little ones in the middle in a minute, but we gotta cover the parents. Adults first before children. So we're gonna get to those children. So just hold your seat until we get to you. So tell me now, brother Minister Blair. Tell me now, on the side of your search and what you find and how. Tell me a little bit about that side. About okay, I'm a Christian now. In this neighborhood. Tell me what happened now.
Well, I can tell you that, um, you know, once I gave my heart to the Lord, and I love DJ. Before I got saved, I used to love DJ. I
Oh,
mean, you
really?
could, I mean, I was that was it, and I could tell you that, I was into that line of thing, you know, so much so that on the day when Gilbert came, we were planning to go to a studio to to do some record, and it was with, D'Angelo's brother at the time, and he was an artist, and so I would do the DJ, and his brother would do the singing, and
What?
so, but that plan didn't work out, so because Hurricane Gilbert came, and that changed the trajectory
Oh,
of
wow.
things. So, but so after I got saved, because it was a common thing once they see me and all the friends gather in the corner, and much of them are older than I am, they'll say, "Hey, give me a lyrics or two," and it will just flow just like that. So
So you
I
so you
think I
so
was
you
the
so
best
you
thing
were
in the
so you were Mr.
community.
DJ. You were Mr. DJ Hot
I'm not
Stuff.
really want to compete. Pardon?
Yeah, you were Mr. DJ Hot Stuff.
Oh, I mean, I make my own lyrics on the fly. That's it. That was it. It was all streams of consciousness that, I look at anything, I would just be DJing like that. So we would compete, we would compete. And so, so, so after I got saved, you know, my friends asked me, "Hey, hey, give me a few lyrics." And I said, "No, no, I'm not into that anymore." They're like, "Yeah, no, come on, you're kidding." I said, "No, I'm not." So I told them what happened, and that I, got saved and everything. And so they said, "No, no, someone like you cannot be. No, that is far be it from you. No." So they give me, the usual thing. They give you like a week, you
Yeah.
know. They give you like a week to see if you would change, and then if the week finished, they give you another week, and so, but that to me, because that was such an integral part of as a young man coming up, and that was, that kind of thing was being used in at the time. There wasn't, say, an outlet for you to, utilize that in the kingdom of God. So it was all, for secular purposes. So I kind of, stopped doing that as a way of declaring my conversion, that I'm no longer doing that. I'm no longer going to be at the dance, or I'm no longer going to be on the stage. I'm no longer going to be, doing all that stuff. And so that became a significant mark. And so another pivotal point is when after my conversion and we were doing some expansion on our property, and I was unloading blocks from a truck, and one of the blocks dropped on my foot.
Oh,
And believe it or not, I did curse. I did curse. And after I cursed, I went straight into my room. I knelt down and I prayed and I asked the Lord to forgive me. And I was praying that God would have stopped their ear, that they did not hear me cursing. And I went and I prayed, and I never cursed since. I never ever cursed after that, because cursing was also another big thing about me. As a young
wow.
kid coming up, I would do it for free. They'll pay me, and I would do it for free.
Yeah.
So because it sounds funny to them. As a young child coming up, they say, curse, and they'll let me curse. So that needed to come out of my heart, needed to be exposed, and it needed to come out of my heart. And so the moment I prayed, it never happened. I never cursed again. And so that marked another milestone in my journey, as a young believer. And then it continues. And so I, was attended the same church. And so my wife kind of knew I was a serious young lad
No, 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 no. It can't
coming
be. It
up.
could. It couldn't be your
I was
wife. Know
probably one
that.
of no, she knew. It's the funny thing is that
As a troublemaker.
as a troublemaker, she knew as a troublemaker, and after mine, because it was like this kid can get saved away, because her picture of me was just trouble in the church. They have to try to restrain me from going all over the place. And but the funny thing is that, during all of that time, it's just how God works, and we can go further into that aspect when we touch it. But I saw there's a picture that we have at home with my grandmother and my wife's mother and father in that picture. And so we took that picture, and it's interesting that in that picture there was my grandmother, my wife, and her parents. So when my daughter look at that picture, they see their mother, their grandmother, and their great grandmother in that picture. And I did not know at the time. So my wife, now she was very small at that time, and she was sucking her finger in that picture and almost like hiding, because she didn't want folks to see that she was sucking her finger, because she was told not to. But she was so smart that she was, oh, maybe if I hide my finger while taking the picture, no one will see it. But I make that point just to highlight the fact that how God in his economy had that moment captured, almost like forecasting what that family tree would look like. That is long before I even had the question cross my mind, as you will see in our journey, to even say something to my wife. Would you marry me? So my journey is an interesting one, because as a young man, I had no hope. I did not think I would live beyond a year. I couldn't look that far out.
Wow.
I didn't have an aspiration, education, or otherwise. And even though I may have been a gifted child, or I may have had, as my mother would say to me, and other people would say as a child growing up, that I was smart and gifted, but I didn't see that, because I couldn't see beyond. When you are in an environment that is very volatile in those communities, It's about survival. It's about, am I going to live to see the next day? And who next among your friends or neighbors that's going to be shot, or who knows whatever is going to happen to them. So it was a very tough um, environment, but God brought me out of that environment and allowed me now to be hopeful, allow me now to be optimistic, give me a reason to live, give me a reason to want to achieve, give me a reason, even if I don't have anything. I was a slacker in school, but once I got saved, I now had discipline, focus, purpose, meaning. It's a tremendous change. Now you get to see your true potential that the enemy has been masking and suppressing just because of your environment and being blinded by the circumstance. So that was a very key part in my journey. I will tell you that when in that same period of time when I got saved, and I passed to go to high school. During that time, um, my mother never had the first penny to pay for my school fee, books. She'll provide the uniform because she's a seamstress, and that's the easy part. But the school fee and the books and all of that, she couldn't afford. And so I started school without books, without the school fee paid the first term. And for some reason, I got through the first term better than many others, but albeit is not, finish with a B level or something like that. And it was during that time, when I heard after, all that happened and I needed to go back and all of that, my mother told me that, hey, guess what? The school called and said they have a scholarship for brilliant child. No, I don't know who they were talking about anyway, right? Which brilliant child they're referring to. But she got a school fee that covered pretty much everything. She never had to pay a penny for high school. It covers my subjects, everything it covered. And she didn't have. So when you have a praying grandmother and you have a praying mother, and God has a plan, a purpose for you. If I tell you how I even got to high school, that is a miracle. All of my friends, they took some paper from the examiner's desk, took it outside, looked at the paper, and were distributing answers through the windows. And for some reason, no, these are my friends. And I was in the exam, and the moment I held my head down and started, I didn't hold my head back up until I was finished. I didn't know there was paper passing around. So after the exam, and I came out, they were saying, but Blair, did you get paper? So what paper are you talking about? Yes, because the answers you were given. So I said, are you serious? No, I didn't. So they were like, they were like all disappointed that how comes you leave him out and didn't give him any paper and didn't give him any answer. And the only person who did not get a paper, the answers, were a person in my class that was a desk away from me, a desk apart from me. And I know he was a pretty smart guy too. And I can tell you, there was nothing in the book that the teacher could have taught me anymore. And I felt that I've exhausted that material. So I was helping students in the class. I was going to repeat the exam. And then the teacher decided he's going to go to the Ministry of Education to get the answers before it's published. And he came back in the class and he said to me, Blair,
See, that internet is swinging again. I am
passed
apologizing.
the exam. There were only 2 people in the class that passed.
Wow.
The 2 person who didn't get the paper. Myself and the person in front of me.
That's amazing. My friends, I'm talking to the Blair family, and as you can see, we're having a little bit of internet dropping, and but we had it before and we picked up. We're hoping that it picks up again. That's what happens sometimes when the wind is blowing and things are moving around. But I hope that we be able to continue this conversation. I hope it hangs up with us and stay faithful. Yeah, I can see it drops a little bit. All right, my friends, if you're just joining me, I'm talking to the Blair family, which includes Brian. Oh, they are completely cut off. I hope this is it happens. So let's see. All right. I'm gonna welcome them back. I am right here. They're there. Hang in there. Hang in there. All right. Who was so smart to cut it off and come back? I don't know who was that smart, but somebody just hang on and maybe Brian, I did all of that. All right.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that was her. That was Brianna.
smart
That was her.
Smart girl. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a good time to hit your share button, my friends, and share with your friends and family because I am just getting into the story. And those three young ladies you see in the middle there, I can't wait to hear their story because for you to hear some of their story because they're just brilliant, brilliant kids. And there is a reason why they are as brilliant as they are because it is seem like something genetic. We're gonna see if it's in the genes. All right. So for all this school thing, tell me about the Marlene story. All of the so we see the goodness of God and the mystery and the miracle of the school, and I must say that you for what I know that you have done extremely well. You have done extremely well, and that becomes part of your genes because what you did not see others saw and God helped to bring it out. So tell me about the Marlene part now. What made you a young man who account to you, just what we call it, a loser, if we can say, are in your own mind. How did you run into Marlene? Is it the same church? And tell me how that unfold.
Well, I think we grew up in the church. My grandmother, close friend, she was, like a mother in the church, a praying mother. She, my wife could tell your experience that she would go in my grandmother's lap and she would suck her finger because that's how, close we were. But I was just a trouble in church, so they know me for being a trouble. So, so so when I became, when I got converted and I became a believer and started going to church and really was very serious with my Christian journey, I would be, doing street meetings. I would be preaching on the street and, evangelizing and all of that as a young man, a young 16, 15, 16, 17, and that was my journey. So in the church, I was what maybe one of the youngest deacon in the church at the time, in my teens at the
So you
time.
so you were a deacon in your teens?
I was a deacon. I was 19. Was it 18, 19? In Yeah, about 18, 19, in the church. So
I'm gonna I'm
so
gonna I'm gonna have to do an investigation on that, but let's continue.
yes, I was 50, 50, I would say about 15 going on to 16, and then very active in the church, as I said, street ministry and everything. And so I was very, very, my life was ministry. As a young child coming up, it was just ministry, church ministry. And so that is that so that pivot into how I met my wife. And when I approached her, I said, I didn't ask, I just came straight out. I didn't beat around the bush. I just came straight out and I said, will you marry me? Would you be my wife? I came straight out. Obviously, I prayed about it, and I was led by the Spirit to approach her, and just to let it drop. And so she looked and she said, "Wait a minute here. First thing is, how on earth am I going to even marry someone like you? And it's not because, um, you know, of maybe even some of the trouble that I give, right? It's the opposite. She asked, I'm too strict. I'm too strict from a Christian walk standpoint. I'm very strict. Just because of my role in the church, what I do, and just my seriousness. So for someone like me to come out of the blue to even pop that question, it's like it's the last person I would expect to even pop that question. And but she did not like summarily dismiss me or whatever it is. I think uh she
Let it down easy.
she let me down easily, but but I was still convinced, and I knew that she was the one.
Oh,
I
all right,
I
all right, all right.
it wasn't it
Let me
wasn't
hear
love
from.
at first sight. It was I didn't have the bubbly feeling, but I felt, I knew that she was the one I was supposed to marry, and I popped the question and let the chips fall with me.
Well, I can see the chips did fall, So, but Sister Marlene, tell me your side of the story. What you recall back then, and what was your assessment of the whole thing, how it happened?
Okay. So I distinctly remember I had been studying in Spain and I came back for holiday, for the summer holiday, to be with my parents. At that time I was studying. And he came to my house, and just like he said, he hi, how are you doing, whatever. And then he, I mean, pop the question like that. Is not like we had been dating or anything like that. I mean, I think we used to correspond with each other, but it was just like regular with all the young people in church. We, those times it was letter writing and stuff, but nothing whatever. So when he did, I said, well, of course I was surprised. And then I said, well, unfortunately, I don't know if this can work because I'm going to finish my PhD. I'm going to have to do this and this. I'm going to travel the world. And, when I finished calculating, I said, that's going to be about 7 to 9 years. So, I don't know how that is going to work. As he said, a part of it, like once he got saved, his transition was very drastic. So we move from this troublemaking person who you never expected would really get saved to this person who is really, really very serious, as he said, street meetings or whatever. And then at one point, I remember asking him, "Am I even going to be able to laugh if I get married to you?" Because he got so strict, and I just didn't see. I didn't see him as like the person, in my head, because he seemed all this, very strict or whatever. And at that time, I also was not focused on starting a family or getting married. I wanted to do other stuff. I wanted to travel. As I said, I was in Spain. I wanted to do other things. I wanted to complete my PhD. I wanted to do just so many other things. So, but then as fate would have it, he was persistent, not in an overwhelming way. I mean, we still kept in touch, and and it eventually happened. So
Brian, you were this, you coming from where you were to great to be filled with ambition. So you were an ambitious guy. So
Very ambitious. That's it. Very
so
ambitious. I
so
I
you so
don't.
you, so you saw this beautiful young lady in your church, but now she's studying in Spain, and I said, you're gonna you're gonna hang your hat up high, right?
Well, I think too. It was probably more my grandmother's prayer. I think it was that picture which says, "This is going to be your family tree."
Okay,
I was
okay,
fulfilling. I
okay.
That's just, that's the official story. I was fulfilling what I believe God had purpose, and I think my grandmother may have been praying that this young man would be saved and will have a family, and live a productive life and whatever. And so she was instrumental in my conversion. In fact, when I got saved and I told her I gave my heart to the Lord, she then began to guide me and encourage me, and even some of the bad actors who come around, she would try to, protect me from them, and so that I can establish my footing as a believer. And so she played a very instrumental role in my transition and in my moving in the right direction. I mean, I believe when I got saved, I didn't have much. Back then you have what is called the booger crepe, or they were very, very, very cheap,
Been there, done
and
that.
very cheap, but that was the only thing we could afford as a shoes to wear to church, and I wore it with pride because I have shoes and I'm going to church, and so nothing really dissuaded me. And I saw people would look and say, "Oh, look at, his clothes doesn't even match, but I have clothes. It doesn't really matter." That was, the confidence and the comfort and the humility that my grandmother instilled in me and encouraged me as a young man. No, don't watch that, whatever. And so you focus on what matters most. And so I pretty much when it comes to those things, I had no shame. It doesn't really matter me. And so that plays an important role. So when I the interesting thing is that I think the year before or something like that, when she was going to Spain, unbeknownst to me, I sung. I did a song for her at church. I did a song for her at church, and but I didn't know at the time. It was everyone was going up and bidding her farewell and everything, and so for some reason, I guess I was led to sing a song to my future wife. But that was not even in my mind. It was just encouraging, her. You're going away, and there's going to be a lot of challenges away, and first time away and stuff like that. And it was, that perspective. But I think that when I saw her, and in fact, she said, I raised the question, at her home, yes, but I did approach her at church, outside of the church, at church in front, on in we call it the courtyard of the church, right? It was right after church. I didn't wait till she go home. I right out church here before God and man. I said, look, I raised the question, and then she was like, so she was gonna think about it or whatever, and then when I went to her, when we went to her house, I said, what's your response? So then she started to tell me, well, she started to tell me I need to finish my studies. I need to travel the world. And I'm counting. I'm like, okay, I'm counting. I'm like, I'm almost out of fingers here, right? So I said, that's like at least 10 years. And then she was surprised when I said, it's a deal.
So you were gonna wait.
I said to her, if it takes that long, I'm in.
Wow.
No problem. And
All
so,
right. Well, that tell me it meant a lot to you.
Right. And so when I said that, it was, I think that probably was, this guy's not real. He's not, after I'm trying to chase him away by having him count the cost before he even, started. I'm trying to put a mountain on,
and he's still saying whatever it takes, I will wait.
That's it.
All right. Well, now patience is a virtue, and I think who said James said, "Let it have its perfect work," and now here is the result of what patience brought you.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, I'm talking to the Blair family, a family that I have known for a number of years. Number of years. I'm gonna have to track back to see how many years it has been. I don't remember how many years, but it's been a number of years. I've been their pastor for a number of those years, and I don't remember how many it was. And when I track back, I'll see how many it was. But now, okay, so we gotta cut it up a little bit now. So you married this lady, and now we're gonna go fast forward. You marry this girl that you waited on. You waited on her, and now here you are. You're marry your dream girl. You waited on her, whatever it took, and now here you are married. And what happened? That you're married now, and what happened? How did life change after you get married? What were the next steps? Marlene, you give me a little bit of your version. After, give me a little bit of your version of how this unfold. You married the guy waited.
so so I that that year I migrated to the US because he ended up coming here to study, to go to college here, and I was in Jamaica at the time. I was finishing up my PhD, I believe, or I'd finished it. And and I was working, I was teaching at the University of the West Indies. And then we're like, okay, is this really going to happen? Are we going to get together? What's going to happen? And the Lord would have it that he would open a door for me to work in the US, to get a job in the US, and things just really pulled together from then. And so we moved. I moved to New York. At the time he was living in Massachusetts, and then he moved to this side, and your church was the first church we attended. So pretty much as soon as I got here, a couple months after, we found the Church of God of Prophecy where you were pastor, and we have not gone to any other church since.
So I
So
so I remember when you guys came. Which year was that?
2006.
2006.
So I
And
migrated this fall 2005 to in September, and came here. And by the time we settled and then did the moving, then we started to attend church in Rochester the January.
so he was in Massachusetts. You were in New York.
Yes.
So he pulled up roots in Massachusetts to come find you in New York.
Yeah, yes, because I was in the thing is that he was here and I was in Jamaica, and I was looking for a job. I'm like, if
Okay,
this,
okay.
let's. So I got the job. Well, I did get other jobs, but the one that I felt compelled or led to take is the one that was in New York. And he said, that's fine. We can always, we can make it work. And so, so I moved to New York, and then he moved shortly after. So a couple months after, so we went to Higher Ground the first Sunday in January of 2006. That's when we met you, and you were the pastor there. I'll never forget that.
There's one thing I remember. I remember when and by the way, my friends, I'm talking to the Blair family, and they're very special. They're very special to my family. As a matter of fact, their first daughter, which we will talk to in a little bit from now, their first daughter is my wife's goddaughter, and the second daughter is my goddaughter. That's how connected we are. Sorry, Bristol. My apologies. My apologies. If you want, I could adopt you, but but so we don't want you to feel like, oh yeah, we don't want you to feel left out of it. But I remember when you guys came to higher ground, and there's one thing I remember Brian said, both of you said, but he said he'd been looking for a church, and he said when you're looking for something and you find what you're looking for, you stop looking. I can never forget that.
Yeah.
I can never forget that statement. When you find what you're looking for, you stop looking, right? And amazing that from 2006 to now, it's gonna be pretty much soon that like 20, how much?
Yes.
20 years, right? Soon be 20 years.
Yes, 16,
16,
17,
17
16,
years,
16.
Yeah,
17,
something about that,
17
that
years.
you guys are still there, and you have settled in, and now you are both ministers in the church, and you hold your roots. When you find what you're looking for, you stop looking, right? So that is still holding true. I remember if I did set Brian for that. Did I set you for it, or you got set?
Yes.
I did
Yeah.
okay because I'm trying to remember that. Maybe I
Yeah.
said you forward as lay minister when I was there. Things happen so far between that I kind of forget. But I am thinking
You
maybe I
did.
did back then. So you
You
gotta
did.
forgive me because my brain is getting a little bit older here. All right, so for those who don't know, this is she's Marlene is a professor. She's a professor, and you hear that you heard that she did her training. She went to Spain. She did her PhD from learning Spanish in Spain. And I'm just gonna take it to tell you, in her class, what I knew when she, as a professor, she teaches only Spanish in her class. They only speak Spanish in her class back then. I don't know what it is now, but that's how good she is. All right. She is Dr. Marlene Blair. So if you see her up in Rochester, don't forget she got the PhD. It's not a violation to call her Dr. Blair. Okay, it's not a violation. not, not a violation. She has earned it, and she's really good. Uh, these are just two wonderful people and three beautiful children. Now, tell me something about the children thing, because we heard that there was a story on the children thing, right? When and the getting pregnant. What's the story on that part of that? Give us a little synopsis of that, because what they thought would never happen, we can see now the result.
Yes. So they told me I would never be able to have children. They'd done a lot of tests. They'd said that because I've had endometriosis and my womb was so scarred. I remember in one year in 2005, I had to undergo two surgeries. At one point, the doctor said we can't be doing surgeries on you this often. It's just, even at one point they wanted to take out the whole womb. They wanted to take out the ovaries. It was that bad. And so I remember them saying, just forget about your having children because they won't be able to survive in this womb. You have so much, scar tissue, and there's just a lot going on. And I remember, talking to Brian about that. And, he's like, I didn't marry you for children. So if you can't, it's fine. Because at this point, I didn't know that before marriage. And it was very,
One second. Can you shift your camera a little bit so we get a little bit more of her face in the no, the other way, the other way. There you
yes.
go. There you go. There you go. All
Okay.
right, good.
Yes,
Okay,
it's
there
five
you
of
go.
us.
That's better.
Yes. So they said, I never would have, children, and we were considering other possibilities. But I remember one day Brian said to me, I feel in my heart that we are going to have. And I said, okay. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, you can feel it, but this is what it is. And I started to train myself to think other ways. I started to think, what about adoption? What could I do? And, he actually said that to me. And I remember specifically, we were coming back from a vacation and I was at work at the time. And I heard this voice clearly just saying, go buy a test, a pregnancy test, and get yourself tested. And you know, I'm like, okay, so this is me hallucinating or something because, I really wanted kids. So this is my mind doing, nonsense.
Mind playing games on you, right?
Right. And I did it. And when I went and it showed a positive, I called the doctor immediately because in fact, I was doing other treatments for the endometriosis, and they said you cannot get pregnant while I was taking this medication called Lupron and all of that. And they were telling me I couldn't, get pregnant, all of that on it. And she's like, no, that's not possible because you can get a false positive as well, but come in so we can see you. So I went in and they did the initial test, and I don't remember what the count is.
Stay right there. You're
Oh,
good. You're good. I did that. Go ahead.
right. Okay, what the count is that I needed to have to show I was pregnant, and it was low. And she's like, well, this is showing like that you could be pregnant, but based on what I know, I don't think so. So you know what? Come back in another 2 days. And when I went back in another 2 days, I don't remember right now what the count, the thing that they count when you're pregnant to say, but anyway, I know it went up. I mean, like it tripled. and
Wow.
they had to do the
So no,
ultrasound.
so now you're really, really pregnant.
Right. And they did the ultrasound, and that's the first time I was and this was with Brianna, and she was what happened. I've never seen this. Your womb is in such, a bad condition. We just didn't think that this would be possible. But this is what God does. As I said, Brian believed. And, I had at one point stopped believing it would happen. And not only did I have one, but all of three. So, it is all God. If it were the doctor's report alone, I would not have any, but this is all God. And so I'm really grateful to him for that.
And just to add to that, I remember I said to her when she said she, you know, um, couldn't have and kind of, so I said to her, next year, this time you're going to have,
Oh wow.
I said to her, next year,
Mhm.
you asked her, next year, this time. And I just left it at that. I just spoke it.
So you
And
were you were like the messenger who came to Sarah.
that is exactly right. Exactly right. I said next year this time. And I said it to her. And so I remembered she went to the doctor. They did some ultrasound, some check. They saw something on the ovary and they thought it was the uh the
Assist
cyst.
another. They thought it
And
was
they were thinking of preparing to maybe
do
go
another
in and
surgery.
another surgery to remove. And I was in the room and I prayed and I said, nope, it is that is that is not what they're saying it is. And that it was after that, you know, um, the spirit spoke to her, hey, get your get a test and see what was happening. But I think leading up to that, I was saying to myself, why are you eating all my food?
Uh oh.
What but why are you eating my food and eat your food and you're eating? So her eating habit changed. And I said, so I said I think that test, you should do that test because and sure enough, it came back positive. So I think it was a miracle all around, and I think God is faithful to His word. And the interesting thing is that in our correspondence, the name, the name of Brianna was written in a correspondence. I would say many, many years ago that if we have a child, the child would be Brianna.
Assuming it's
And
gonna be a girl.
Yes.
assuming was going to be a girl. So, well, I guess because of we didn't put Brian, we put Brian. So it would have bound to be a girl that
Okay.
they were going to have.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so so it's just how things work and how God would have it to be.
All right. Amen. 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 I remember when you came to Rochester. I remember 2005. You say you're having those moments. I remember 2006. You came there. I remember that. I remember how things unfolded, and we were so into it right from the start. It's like you came there, and we were just like connected, and we
Yes.
were right all the way in with you guys. And here comes Marlene pregnant for real, and we can all see it. And now baby is gonna be born. This is no joke. This is real baby coming, and now little Brianna is gonna be born. And we were at the hospital when it happened, and this little baby, Adam, and look at her now. So welcome, Miss Brianna. Good to have you in the middle of everything.
Hi.
Uh, tell me, before we get to hearing Brianna growing up and understand. So I remember. Tell us a little bit about Brianna's story when you because she had a story when she didn't want to come to church, right? She's yeah, you got to inspire her and motivate her
Oh,
to give her
goodness.
reasons to want to get up because first of all they lived 30-40 minutes away from church, and even
Yes.
during the winter time they gotta fight their way. But I can tell you, I can tell anybody, these were some of the most faithful people that were in the church during the time that I was there, coming from Dansville, right?
Yes.
Coming from Dansville, 30-40 minutes and sometimes more depending on the weather. They were always at church. I couldn't understand sometimes how they did it, but somehow, they were dependable, they were faithful, they were steadfast, and until today, God bless them. God bless them. Faithful, faithful indeed, no doubt about that. So sometimes you had to encourage little Brianna at her little baby age, 2 years, 3 years. You gotta stir up Brianna's emotion and desire to come to church. Tell us a little bit about getting Brianna to want to come to church sometimes.
Well, she loved Bishop Beckford. That's who she used to call you, Bishop.
Bishop, I
Bishop.
remember Bishop.
And whenever, like, if it was cold or something out, it'd say, Bishop's gonna be there, Bishop's gonna be there. She said, oh, because Bishop's gonna put on my scarf, he's gonna put on my glove, because you were very, very kind to her. And she remembers that after church, when everybody was busy, you would take the time, you'd put her little scarf on, her gloves on, so she would be nice and warm going out, and she would remember that. And even as you mentioned, that when she was in children's church downstairs, she didn't want the teachers to teach. She'd be like, you have to be quiet. Bishop's preaching upstairs. So even though she should be paying attention in children's church, she was always looking out for you. So she just loved her some Bishop Beckford. She just, so anything that we said Bishop about, she'd do it.
I know,
All
I
you have
know.
to
I,
do
I,
is
remember- I remember you telling me that she don't want to get up. Said you don't want to go see Bishop, and then that inspires her to get up to get ready to go to church. For those who are hearing this story for the first time, she would die for Bishop. I don't know what it is now as she's grown, but I know what it. But I know what it was when she was very small. We were very young, for that matter. I remember one time, you gave me $50. You gave me $50, and you told me Brianna told you that she wanted $50 to give to Bishop.
Yes, I remember that.
And
Yes.
I still couldn't figure out how a child asks for $50. Because normally a child would ask for
Yes.
normally a child would ask for $1. But she wanted
Yes.
$50 to give Bishop. And you met her desire and gave her $50 to give Bishop. That is, I will go to my
Yes.
grave remembering that.
Yes.
All right, so let's hear from Brianna now. Brianna, what can you recall about your own story? What can you recall about, your young days? Tell me what you can recall before we get to, you're in school now and you're doing so well in school, and even in the distance, I am so proud of you. I think you're pursuing entrepreneurship and all of that stuff. Tell me a little bit about your own story, Brianna.
Yes, when I was younger, I was very energetic. I loved to, play. I loved to, do sports and, goof around and things like that. But I also, enjoyed going to church as well. I like going to church, as you said. I love to see you at church as well, and just always um, come to church and enjoy and see people. I definitely enjoyed that. In school as well, I didn't really want to go to school because that's just how school is sometimes, but I definitely persevered. Now I'm doing really well in school and just enjoying the time that I have with my family, and definitely loving the Lord and participating in church through the media, through dance, or whatever I'm doing. So.
And I must say I'm so proud of you guys because I get a little synopsis of what you're doing. You're really, they talk about a chip off the same block of your parents who you did dedicate. As a matter of fact, parents' dedication sometimes spill over to children, and they use parents as examples. Those who really want to get involved. And I must say, I've watched you guys even in the distance and see your consistency and your contribution to the kingdom. I'm so proud of you. How are you doing in school?
I'm doing very well. The previous marking period that we had, I passed with a 99.982, I believe. So almost to a 100. So I'm on my way for valedictorian. Hopefully, if I continue to keep up my grades, very excited about that.
Excuse me,
Um,
99.99. That sounds like you are the father. That's a DNA.
um,
That sounds like the DNA result, the paternity. 99.999. You are the father. So yeah. Wow.
yes,
That is
but
excellent. That is excellent.
yes,
And that
thank
and that's your
you.
that's your godmother there. That's your godmother, right in there. Yeah, that's her. She's
Oh,
okay.
yes.
99.999. I
Yes.
am so proud of you. That
And
we're gonna
consistently
call that
too.
100.
And
Yes.
consistently too.
Yes, it's like
Consistently
consistent
throughout school.
grades. Yes, and I also
Wow.
like to participate in clubs, and teachers ask me to participate as well. So I kind of help out as well to take leadership roles. So, like in my class, I know for class of 2025, I'm vice president, and some other clubs, I mean, a few others. I know last year I started a business, started going to Future Business Leaders of America, where we were able to go to competitions, and I was able to go to the semifinals for client service and hospitality and event management. So I really enjoy, participating in school and helping out my teachers and just being a light in my school and allowing myself to be a leader and to show others how to be a leader as well. So
How,
yes,
how, 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 how old are you now?
15 years old. I'll turn
Oh my
16.
God, how time has flown, my God, and she's a serious 15 years old. Boy, oh boy, I can tell you, she's no joke. She is serious about that community work. And look at maturity. I if you could just be patient, I could tell you that little baby now is 15 and is so involved. 15 going 16. I'm sure your parents are so proud of you. But I am not surprised. I am not surprised of your brilliance, because your mother is exceptionally brilliant. Your father is exceptionally brilliant. So you're getting it at both sides. Anywhere you bounce it, coming back at you. So uh, if you bounce to the right, if you bounce to the left, it's coming right back at you. So you have no choice but just suck it up and go forward, right? So I am so proud of you. What are you pursuing? What are you pursuing? As you grow up.
So currently I'm kind of deciding between multiple things. I know I was thinking about the medical field, something with like pediatrician and possibly owning my own practice, something I've been wanting to do. But recently I've been looking into entrepreneurship as well, CEO. Um, I know last year, like a year and a half ago, I started two small businesses, one where I bake and one where I make beauty products, just to dabble into that industry a little bit and to test and see what I can do. So even if I do go into the medical field, I can have that as something on the side, as an extra form of income, and etc. And just something that I would really enjoy doing. So
Oh
definitely most
God, you
important.
guys, you are just amazing. You are amazing. You're amazing. The amount of things that you have in your head in your pursuit right now, I can't even. I mean, when I was growing up, at your age, I just want to become a man. That's all. at your age, I just wanted to become a man, and maybe become a man so I could maybe have a girlfriend. Maybe that's all I was hoping for, when I was at that age, or have a wife. But all these things that you are aspiring, and know the approaches to how to compile, the plans and the process, and how to pursue them. That is just incredible, incredible, incredible. I am so proud of you. I'm talking to the Blair's family from up in Rochester, New York, and Danville, Rochester, up in Western New York. A great, great family for the kingdom of God. I'm Pastor Daly, Bishop Daly, Dr. Daly, whatever you are now. If I could have bring them down with me, they would have been down here, So just enjoy them, my friend. Enjoy them. Enjoy them. This is one wonderful, wonderful, wonderful family. If you know how to treat people good, you can get the best out of them. And we have maintained our relationship, even for the past 11 years that I have left Rochester. We have still maintained our relationship. All right. Okay. You can still hit your share button. All right. So we come from Brianna and we're going into Miss Adania. Now we go from BA, Miss Adania. And I must say, Miss Adania is my goddaughter. But if I can remember, if I do I remember well that when she was very young, she didn't want to have nothing to do with me.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
If I can remember well, when my goddaughter wanted nothing to do with me when she was young. She just didn't want me to come close. Didn't want me to touch her. I think eventually, when she saw how I treated Brianna and how Brianna warm up with me and how I wasn't hurting Brianna and how it was no reason to be afraid, then she gradually, little by little, start to warm up with me a little bit. She didn't stay in the distance. Let me get a little touch, here and there, and she didn't turn me off and stuff like that until eventually she has grown to realize that, oh yeah, I'm a good guy. So now she warm up with me. All right, so Adania, tell me about your own story. What can you recall? I know you tell me about your story, and now we're gonna hear her own story. Tell me about your story, Adania.
So when I was younger, I was I could be a little bit of trouble, but I think that I was more of like doing my own thing. Especially, I loved going to church, but sometimes I'd get really tired and I'm like, I don't want to go or something like that. But I ended up going because there's children's church, and I loved doing a lot of activities because I loved engaging and doing like learning about God and Christ in like an energetic and fun way. That's just something about me that I love doing. I love singing the songs, doing the games, and all those things.
So I noticed that what my wife says here. Brianna wanted everything to do with me, and
Yes.
Adania wanted nothing to do with me.
Yes,
You,
Yes.
yes,
you couldn't contrast more with the two. Tell me, Adania, how does it feel? Because what we know about three children in a family, the second child. Uh, becomes a loner sometimes. Tradition say the first child was, well, yeah, it was everybody, and then the little second one, comes up, and then God, when the third one comes, then the second one becomes a loner because now every attention is being paid to the last one, the baby, and so the middle one now got to fend for themselves and gotta say, okay, becomes a loner. How does it feel for you to be the middle child? Tell me what your experience is like. Oh, Brianna is older, Bristol is younger, I'm in the middle. Tell me how you handle that.
So sometimes I would just do my own thing, but me and Bristol, I feel like I was really attached to her. I know a lot of adults said that I would not let people touch her. I wouldn't let people clothe her, do anything. Like I'd protect her.
Yes, very protective over
Um,
Brissy. Would let anyone touch her, no one
yeah,
do
like I was her
anything.
bodyguard. Um, I was excited to have another sibling. For Brianna, I feel like I was a bit attached to her. We did a lot of things together because she was like one of my only friends when I was younger. There's a lot of pictures of us doing games together, watching movies together, doing a lot of fun stuff. So sometimes it can be a bit lonely, but sometimes I like it that way. So I like to have a little bit of space, but I do love being with my family though.
what do you do? What do you do in your lonely moments? What you do? What you do to occupy to
So,
entertain Brianna?
well, you probably don't know this, but I used to record a lot of videos of myself pretending to be a YouTuber, even though I'm kind of one now. I used to record videos saying, like, oh, I have a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers, and I'm making videos about craft or something. But I have a lot of clips, I think, on one of my old cameras downstairs, but I used to record every single second of the day. I'd record Bristol, I'd record my parents, I'd record maybe mom in the kitchen or somebody talking. I would just, I would unbox maybe a candy wrapper or something.
You record even candy wrappers.
Yes.
Yeah, but now I believe 2020, the end of my year in fifth grade, my parents finally gave me a channel, and it's been a really fun experience because I love making videos for people, and I feel like I've grown a lot over the past few years. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. Um, School is hard to manage with a channel as well because school comes first, but I am trying to manage that within the next year or so, so I can kind of balance it out. Um, Also, my channel, I I also want to like share my light to other people and show that I'm different from others. So it's not just seeing the same things. If people know that, oh, she's different than other people, I want to watch her because of this. I want to watch her because of that. And even one of my teachers, and I will never forget this, she said in my, I think, third grade, she said, there's something about your family. I just see it. There's a light that I can see within your family. And I believe she's a Christian too, but she was one of my favorite teachers because she would always motivate me. She always had something nice to say, something to encourage me whenever I was feeling down.
So how old are you now?
I am 12 years old. I'll be 13 next year.
Oh, I tell you, time. So when I left Rochester, you were just so little, but thank God you grown. And by the way, my friends, as you hear talk about her channel, she's a YouTuber. She's been a YouTuber, and she's had this creative mind. And what was one of the lines? Is journey with Adanya. What was your what was your YouTube?
It's called Adania's Adventures.
Adania's Adventures. Adania's Adventures. Okay, okay. She's a YouTuber, and I was kind of surprised when I heard that she was talking about her YouTube and sent me a link to her YouTube channel, and I went to and check out her. You say, oh Lord of mercy, these young people, these young people, their approach to life is so different from ours. And I guess it's maybe the time and the season, the
Yeah.
opportunities and everything, that the accessibility, the creativity of their minds, and the resources that who that say Marvin Burke, I'm a
Martin,
subscriber.
you're a subscriber.
I'm a subscriber. I think I am a subscriber
Thank
too.
you.
I think I did subscribe to her channel too. So tell me, Daniel, tell me what are you pursuing? What's your pursuit? Or what are you doing in school? I don't. I'm just asking that, just for asking sake. And I'm sure you're doing well, but how are you doing in school?
I'm doing really good in school. My first year in middle school, I was on honor roll, but even before then, I always had good grades. I would either have a 90 or above as an average. I believe for this marking period, the previous one, I had a 98.9, I think, as an average for honor roll. I want to pursue to be an interior designer because when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of those HGTV shows where people would build houses, and I just loved seeing that. I
Really,
loved all the design. And
really.
I would always ask my mom to buy me a dollhouse. I'd disassemble it and I'd rebuild
Oh,
it.
yes.
So I would watch the shows and I'd build a traditional house out of a plastic dollhouse. I would get cardboard, make the bricks. I would do everything, and I built a traditional home. I made the columns, everything.
Yes, I can add to that. I remember for Christmas, mom had got her this like really big, dollhouse. So this is like a new, like at the time, it was like a new thing. They just put this out. not even a good 2 months later, she's disassembling each piece and building it up and making it look like bricks and putting it back together. She was just very
It took like
creative
about 2 months for that to be done, and I think my dad had helped me do all the gluing and all of that, and I even made beds too. I would so I had this. It's kind of like one of those things that you can use to excite stuff, but I cut out the plastic bed and I glued cloth. So I asked my grandmother to send me some fabric over, and I would glue the cloth. I'd make the pillows. I'd sew pillows for the couches for the living room. I also made a couch out of, I think, cardboard, and I sewed all the fabric together. I did the stapling, the gluing, and everything. And it's just something really fun I like to do. In my spare time, I have this little app that helps me build, so I can make different designs and I'd build it, and then I would delete that plot and I'd make another one. So I kind of exploring different house styles. And when I grow older, I want to make a type of house style instead of like you see in traditional, modern, suburban, all that stuff. I want to make my own type of model. So people will say, "Oh, she invented this type of house design," or "I'll take that house design," or something like that.
Wow. Wow. Listen, 12, 13, right? 12 going 13.
Yes.
That's incredible. That is incredible how knowledgeable, how aware, how structured the thinking is, and how focused these children are, and what they are aspiring. That is just absolutely incredible. And you know what I find interesting is that you don't have to take their hands and put it on things. They research, they pursue. I won't be surprised if before I go down on in age, if the Lord allows me time, that I'll see you on HGTV. I am
And that was another one of my dreams too as a kid. I wanted to make my own building show, and I wanted to show people step by step processes and help people build houses. And that seems really cool. Yeah. Another one of my jobs that I want to do is become not like an influencer, but I want to be a role model online. So,
oh
as you see,
Lord
you
of
mentioned
mercy.
sewing. I want to be able to post videos and talk to my fans, and I want to be able to share videos that make people's day, something that people can watch that is clean, something that's kind of general based that anybody can watch and relate to. I also remember last year when I told my teacher what I wanted to be, she was so shocked. She said in the next 10 years she'd hire me to build her house when she retires. That's what she said.
I just saw here that higher ground is thinking of hiring you as an interior designer up there. So you just seem to put yourself on the market, right?
Yes.
And I'm thinking that maybe your godfather will have to come to get a shoot.
I believe
Maybe.
that last year I was searching for colleges. I don't know why, but I was looking how long it takes to become an architect or an interior designer or exterior. And it takes about 10 years depending on what you want to learn. But I'm willing to do that because it's something I'd like to do. But I also learned that you can do intern programs. So it's not, so you can go to college for 5 years and then be an intern for 5 years and
Oh
something like
dear God, you're killing me, Brianna. Adanya, you're killing me. You're
yes.
killing me. You're killing me with your research and all of that stuff, and you're killing me. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you, your dream will become reality if you have the patience that your father had. If you have the patience and the determination your father had, what right we're looking at this family, that will be you maybe on HGTV, and maybe I look and said, "Oh my God, that's my goddaughter right there on TV. That's my goddaughter on HGTV." You know what you are pursuing. That is just incredible, incredible, incredible. I am amazed. I am amazed at how structured your minds are, and how many things that you are in pursuit of. The other day, I was telling my wife just two days ago that somebody sent out something on TikTok. They say and the question was, would you rather to be um what they call it, what the word is, would you be able to be the master of one thing, or would you want to be very good at many things? My response was, I would like to be very good at many things, because that gives me an open opportunity that if one thing didn't work, if all your eggs are in one basket and the basket fall off your head, you don't have no eggs left. So, if you have many things that you are good at, if one thing fails, you can actually piggyback to something else. So I think you have a great out. You both of you have two great outlooks in life, because I listen to Brianna, and while she wants to go into the medical field, she's carrying all these other two, three things beside her that she can fall back on just in case. Like pandemic stop one thing, and who knows what happened. You can actually have something else. That is just incredible, incredible, incredible. Listen, I'm gonna take a little moment break, give you a chance to get a water, my friend. You can hit your share button and tell your friends about it. I'm gonna come back and give them a chance to get a drink of water, and then we'll hear from Miss Bristol all by herself. We're gonna hear from Miss Bristol all by herself. Hang in there, my friends. We'll come right back and talk to the family a little bit more.
Every Wednesday. And Twitter.
We are back. We are back with the Blairs up in Western New York. Special family to me and my wife and my family. I am so proud of them. I am so proud of them. I am so proud of them. I only have one wish, that I wish I was still your pastor. That was, but the Lord knows what's best. All right, so Miss Bristol in the last one, she's kind of how old are you? How old are you, Bristol?
I'm 10 and I'm turning 11 next year.
So she's actually born after we left.
Yeah.
Shortly
Yes.
after.
2012.
She actually born. So we left 2011, and she. Oh, I'm so sorry. So that's what happened, my dear. That's
That's
what happened.
okay.
So that's what happened. But life happens, right? All right. So tell me something about little Bristol. When I met you at first, I said, oh, look at little Bristol. I didn't get to know you back then, but we came back to Rochester and saw little Bristol, and look at the young lady just grow up like crazy. Just grow up like crazy. Tell me something about Bristol.
Well, I'm a troublemaker. Yes. I always have been since I was a baby. I've been causing trouble. I remember when I was in my crib. Every there was this pink curtain, and I would always get tangled in it on purpose, just so they would cry on purpose, just so that they could come, and take me out, just because I wanted attention and everything. And I would just cause trouble. I would jump from table to table. I would run around. And my sisters, I just do everything that the younger sibling would probably
Yes, I do
do.
remember that.
But what I want to do right now, I really like. I want to be a person that works for animals, like a veterinarian.
Like a what?
A veterinarian.
I
That
didn't
I
hear that
don't
one.
work for dogs because I don't really like.
Oh, veterinarian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she want to be a vet.
Yes. I
Oh,
don't really
wow.
like cats that much, so I really want to do it just for dogs.
Oh, you don't want to do cats.
No.
So you're gonna be a prejudiced vet.
Yeah.
So okay, my specialty is dogs. Tell me, give me a little bit more of the behind thinking, the thought process of why you want to be a vet and why you just want to do dogs.
I The reason I want to be a vet is because I've always loved dogs. When I was younger, I had a babysitter, and she had two golden retrievers, and I fell in love with them.
Yes.
And they died when I was I think 8 or 7. I was really sad, but after that, I really wanted to work for dogs to keep them clean and healthy, and that's really it. I just want to be able to keep them clean and healthy so they don't get diseases that cause them to die or anything.
Oh wow! So you want to make sure dogs don't die, except
Yeah.
except from old age.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I can't really control it.
Wow. I'm gonna ask the question so I don't sound biased. You know that. So how are you doing in school?
I'm doing pretty good. My favorite subject is math. I'm really good at it.
All right,
I
I
like
hear.
it
I'm
really.
really good at it. Yeah. Okay.
I really like math because there's problems and I like to solve them, and they're really fun, especially if you put them in other ways.
I'm not surprised. Your dad next to you is a technical guy, and
Yes.
okay. All right. So tell me how. Well, you did say you're a troublemaker. You did troublemaker for your
Mhm.
sisters. It's interesting when you said that you actually create a situation in your crib to get attention.
Yes.
Do you still do that now? Do you still do things now so you can?
Yes. Some,
Not as
Different
not
ways.
as much, but sometimes.
sometimes.
Yes.
How do
I
you
did
go ahead?
I did it when I was younger because I really wanted attention, just so that they could come and take me and baby me a lot. Like, oh my god, are you okay? Especially mom.
Especially mom.
Yes, but dad always thought that no, she's only do. At first he was like, okay, yeah, but he thought that I was just doing it on purpose now because it happened every single day, almost every single day I do it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to see what I could phrase here. You already tell me your last one story, so you're the last one. So you create that trouble to get attention. Okay, I see that. I see that. I see that. Listen, I am so proud of all three of you, and I'm sure I don't have to ask your parents how proud they are of you guys because you're just an amazing, amazing young people, and they've grown up together so much, and what was these little kids now becomes the minds, the minds of the future, the bright minds. And I think the world has a good future if we continue to provide opportunities and allow and encourage our children, encourage them to pursue their dreams. It is amazing that the three children right there, they talk about seven brothers, seven different mind there. That's three different kids going down their own path. The world will be blessed because of your pursuit. I am so proud of you. God bless you, and keep on doing what you're doing, and stay focused, stay out of trouble, keep your minds on the goal. And one of these days I look back, and maybe just a couple years from now I look and see Miss Brianna, becoming this she want to what say you want to do a pediatrician.
Pediatrician.
Okay, so you want to take care of kids. You don't want to big people give you no trouble.
Yes, just kids, because I think I work really well with kids, and um, from my experience, other people trusted me with their young babies and even newborns. I've watched over. I remember at school once. I think it was for sports. I had just finished playing a volleyball game, and I wanted to watch the other girls play. And this lady, she had a newborn, and she would look like she was struggling a little bit because her daughter was playing. I said, "Oh, I could watch her and stuff." And ever since, she always says hi to me. That little girl's about 2, 3 right now, and she always comes up to me and she gives me a hug. So like memories like that makes me, love kids, and I think that I do really, really well with kids. So I think a pediatrician would be right for me. So
Okay, so you're gonna be over this side of town taking care of little kids, and your sister is gonna be somewhere down here taking care of little dogs, and the other and the other sister gonna be here fixing up buildings and doing interior design and building our own structure up in the Beverly Hills of whichever neighborhood she's gonna be in. We're gonna have or unique structure said that's gonna have her signature on it. Said, oh yeah, that is something unique. That's amazing. I am so proud of you guys. And now we're coming to the wrapping up side. Anything that I should have, that you want to tell me that I didn't ask, Marlene, Brian, the ministry part of it. I can see you guys. Actually, what happened since I left Rochester is that Sister Marlene, when I left, Brian was, I'm so proud that I was the one who set you forth into ministry, and you're continuing that. That's legacy. I'm proud of that. I wish you all the best as you continue to serve faithfully. And since I left, Dr. Blair has become Minister Blair. So is the Blair and the double ministers. I knew you had all that potential, Marlene, to do ministry. I saw that. I knew it was in you. I guess you didn't want me to do it, so you slow.
Not that, Bishop. It's not that, sometimes you just resist the call of God. You just want to be, I just want to be regular and normal. I don't want, titles or anything. Had nothing to do with you, sir. But after a while, you resist up to a certain point, and then you just say, Lord, use me however you choose to use me, and in whatever capacity. And you realize it's just my time to surrender just came.
Amen to that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding because I know
Yeah, I
if you wanted to go into ministry that we would have yeah, then back then, and yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I am proud of you guys. I am proud of you guys. I wish you the best as you continue to pursue your ministry, and continue to instill the values in your children, and I'm sure you are so proud of your children to see them grow, especially Brian, because the Lord is not the Lord, but as the doctor said, hey, you're not gonna have none. And you could go back to them and say, take a look.
That's right.
Take a look now. Not only we're not gonna have one, but now we have three. And
Three.
look
Yes.
at them. Look at them, and look at what they have achieved already in this tender age. Look at their vision for their future, and how knowledgeable and how focused and how mature they are. I'm listening to I'll Miss Dania, and it's just like, okay, she behaving like she's like 21. She's talking like she's 21. I mean, her conversation is like she's 21. I mean, Brianna is like she's like 40. I mean, these kids are just like 15 and 13, and they're like, oh my god. Bristol is, well, I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised because just to admire the siblings and how focused they are and how they have vision and dreams and discuss it and share it. I have no I'm not surprised that you build up the same characteristics and the same values. And okay, so yeah, I don't like interior decoration. I don't want to build houses. I don't want to do that kind of dirty work, heavy lifting. I don't want to do all of that. And I don't want to do babies, but I just want to do little puppy dogs because I like them. I want to take care and make sure they're well. I am so proud of you guys. Anything that I didn't ask you guys that you want to share with me, the floor is open for you for the next 10 minutes to tell me what's your wrap up words. What are your thoughts now that you would say, okay,
Well,
if you, who?
besides me being a vet, I've thought about it also that I either want to be a cop, a firefighter, or if I want to do any sports, soccer or basketball. I'm doing basketball right now, and I find it really fun and entertaining.
So what did you say before that? If you say after you don't only want to be a vet, but what?
Firefighter, cop,
Firefighter. Oh, so you want to do some tough things too.
yes,
Oh, so
yes.
you're telling me you're not that soft.
No,
So you're gonna come. So you want to make sure if Mr. Daniel House catch fire somewhere, her little sister is coming to put it out.
yes. Yeah, and I've also
Wow.
thought of being a cop, but the thing is, the only reason why I've thought of like the reason why I don't really want, but like I do, is because I'm afraid that like when like other people have guns and stuff, I'm afraid that I might get shot. That's the only thing. I don't know. Like, I might accidentally do something.
You afraid you might get shot, and you're also afraid you might have to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Listen, that's the real world, right? That's the real world. That's the real world, and that's the rational mind looking at the pros and the cons, right? And looking at the pros and the cons and what are the possibilities. They say, yeah, let me do my assessment. They say, I like that, but it comes with something. I don't like what it comes with. So all right. Listen, the door is open. The door is open. You're still young. You're still young, and as life unfolds, I'm sure you might say, you know what, I'm gonna settle, narrow it down right here, and this is what I'm gonna do. Your mind changes later on as you understand a bit more of it. So we'll see what happens as the years unfold. All right, I am so proud of you guys. I am really, really proud of you guys. And I'm glad to be part of this family to the extent that I am. All right. What you want to wrap up and say, Brian? What you want to close out with? I know you're full of zeal and ministry, and you're still pushing it and serving the Lord. I can see synopsis of that. I know that's where your heart and your passion is. I've had only 5 years. 5 years come like it was a whole lot more than 5 years.
Yes.
Wow. What's your final words as we say thanks to everybody who joined us on this conversation?
Well, truly, it's a pleasure to have this conversation in this manner, and just to share, give an insight into our journey. Many times you may see someone now, but not knowing their past and how they have gotten to where they have gotten, sometimes we may take things for granted. And so it's important just to communicate that all of us have a story.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
all of us have an his story. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to, not be afraid to communicate that and to share and to allow others to be able to see and to understand. Even the younger generation, our kids coming up, for them, they may not have that experience, but we want for them to know where from their roots, so that they can
Mm-hmm.
be proud of their heritage and whatever future they have ahead of them. So I'm very happy for this occasion, just to be able to communicate that. And I remember back in the island, we took them to Jamaica. I drove through the community where I was, and they were scared to wit. But I said,
Oh
"Don't
wow.
worry, yeah, don't worry." And so my wife wanted to get out as quickly as possible. But I think it was important for me, for them to at least get a glimpse of where their parents are coming from, so that they can understand in the future that it is through God's grace and His mercy while we're here, and while we have been able to provide them with what we have been able, in whatever way we can provide for them. So really, thank you for the opportunity, and God bless you. Thank you all for joining me
You
today.
you you're really a brave man. You're really a brave man to take your family down in Jamaica in these recent times and drive them through those neighborhoods. You are a brave man, but thank God it all is well that ends well. So you can say, okay, experience teaches wisdom, but they learn a lesson. I'm sure if you ask them, they don't want to go back next time. They
No, no, no.
I say, well, okay, Daddy, one time is enough. We
One
got
time
it.
is enough.
We
That's
get
it.
it. We get it. Sister Marlene, what you want to say? What's your final word? What would you say as a from the professional standpoint, from the professor's standpoint? What would you say to a word of inspiration to somebody who is pursuing their dreams, somebody maybe struggling in school, somebody want to give up, they're not doing well, the marks are, what would you say to somebody as a professor who is who has seen it from all angles?
Yes. I would say keep the dream in mind, and that will help you to persevere. Look at the end goal, where you're aspiring to be. And for any career that you pursue, anything that you do, regardless of the stage you're at, there will be challenges. There'll be times when you just want to give up on it. But if you can keep that dream in your mind, this is why I'm doing this, this is where I'm heading, that will be really, really helpful in helping you to get to that goal. And of course, depending on the Lord, trusting in Him for His sustenance through hard times. Get good friends to support you, friends who can speak positively in your life, good influence around you, because some of them who will discourage you from finishing your career, they're not finishing theirs either. So you really want to have people in your circle that will inspire you and encourage you to pursue your dream, right? To get to that end state, because everything has challenges, but you can, and it will be worth it. You'll be able, as you can see, I mean, I look at my own life, and I'm able to provide a better background for my children, better, than what I had, because I kept that dream alive. I persevered, I learned, and so I'm able to do a little better for them. And as I've said to them, you must be a better mother than I am. I've said that to them.
Hmm.
And your children must become better parents than you were. I've always talked to them. It's about making every generation better in every
Amen.
sense of the word.
I would to God we could all do that. I would to God we could all do that. And as you talk about the dream, I think one of my favorite statement that I've used time and again, and it is, just like a man is not dead until he stop breathing, your dream is not dead until you stop dreaming.
Right. Right.
So keep your dream alive. Your dream
Right.
is not dead until you stop dreaming.
Mhm.
Stumbling and making mistakes and things didn't work.
Right.
I keep on forgetting this guy. This guy, I forget if his name is Grant or something. And I should have taken a note of that. But some of you might know. But he had tried a number of things. He had tried a number of things, and I think 1,000 things that he had tried and they didn't work. And
Yes.
somebody asked him, and maybe if I say that you'll know who it is. Somebody asked him, how do you feel to have failed 1,000 times?
Mhm.
And he said, I did not fail 1,000 times.
Mhm.
I discover 1,000 things that didn't work.
Work.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
I discover 1,000 things that didn't work. So I
Yes.
learn as I go along. I have to
Right.
change strategy, I have to change method, I have to change my
Yes.
approach, I have to change a number of things because that didn't work, not because I failed, but that thing didn't work. What it does, it inspires me and it motivates me to go try something else.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, now I actually find something that works. It might be the 1,001, but if it works, then it shows that persistence brings results. I remember maybe 54 years ago, maybe there was a Sunday school lesson. Back when we used to have Sunday school and subject and golden text. I remember that the subject of the goal of the lesson was persistence brings result. I have not forgotten that for all of my childhood coming up into adulthood and until today. I have not forgotten that 50 plus years ago, persistence brings result. And if you keep on pursuing your dream, if something didn't work, it's not because you have failed. Oh yeah, Dr. Daly, remember that, right? That's a long time ago when your pastor was a little boy. Okay, so I'm just telling you how long it was. Yes, persistence brings result, and that still stands true today. That still stands true today. I'm gonna hear from the little ladies. What's your last word? What would you say to somebody in school? What would you say to? Let me take it from the bottom up. Bristol, what would you say to a little girl in school, a little boy in school who is
Um,
pursuing their dream? What would you say to them?
I'd say just work hard, do your best, try not to get distracted,
I
and just stay focused.
I like that. I
Mhm.
like that. That is as simple as it is, but it's as profound as it gets. Miss Adania in the middle. What would you say to somebody in your age group or a little older, a little younger who is pursuing something in their dreams? What would you say to somebody?
I would say don't let others get to you because sometimes the people that are trying to bring you down, they already have things going on in their life and they don't want to see others succeed while they're failing. And I would just say to work hard and do your best. And if you have a dream, just go for it and don't let others stop you. If somebody says you can't be this or that because you are this, so you have to be this, or you are that, so you have to be that. You can be whatever you want to be. Anything that you put to your mind, you can achieve.
You guys are a little bit too much for me. Yeah, really a little bit too much for me, but yeah, that's incredible. That I couldn't say that better. I couldn't say that better. I think I was kind of using a phrase in church on Sunday because I was talking about fractured memories and how people are broken and some people can't get over some things. But you can't if you want to be inspired and motivated and encouraged, you can't turn to a loser.
Mhm.
You can't turn to a loser to encourage you to be victorious. You got to turn to a winner. Somebody got to tell you, you can't turn to somebody and say, well, me know it's not gonna work for you because it never worked for me. You can't
Yes.
turn you can't turn to somebody. You can say, well, listen, been there, done that. I was where you were and where you are, and this is how I get out of there. As your mom said, that's how you have to find people who can inspire you and speak life into you and lift you up and not pull you down. That's well said, Adania and Miss Brianna on the top of everything. What's your last word?
I would say to anyone in school, just stay focused, stay consistent, and try and keep or have a friend group that is going to push you to do your best and not tell you that you can't do this or you can't do that or oh you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't pursue that because of this. You should always go for what you believe in your heart you should do. If you want to be a doctor, you pursue that. And even if your mind changes, don't be afraid to make mistakes and don't be afraid to ask for help, because there's people who have been in your same situation who have experienced that and can give you the help so that you don't make those same mistakes that they did. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And, there's always going to be someone out there, even though everyone has different life situations and different families. There's always going to be someone out there for you to help you and to give you guidance. So don't be afraid to do that and continue to stay focused. And we thank everyone for watching. And we definitely enjoyed this talk with you. We really appreciate it.
Well, well, well. Wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. You guys are just incredible, incredible, incredible. I am so proud of your family. You're all, I mean, all three kids are just like leveling it out, leveling it out, smart beyond measure, focus, mature, articulate, know what they're thinking, and know how to present it. That is just amazing. I am proud of you guys. God bless you. I wish I'm gonna stop using my wish now, but see, to see to see them grow up, and the values that they have, and their level of maturity and what they're able to contribute now, not only in school but even into the kingdom of God. That is amazing, amazing, amazing. May God bless you and may He use you all to be a source of inspiration and become instrumental in the lives of everyone. And I have no doubt those in your age group and those who are younger and older, I can see you have that level of influence, and that the skills and the ability to mentor. That's maybe a good word right there, to mentor some, to discover into others, to see into others where they need help, and to lift them up. You are amazing. God bless you. God bless you. When I get older, I'll see when you come up behind me. If the Lord, if the Lord tarries to give me a few more years, I can't wait to see what 10 more years from now will become in your lives. 10 more years from now, I can't wait to see what it will become in your lives. God bless you in your pursuit, in your dreams, aspiration. God bless you, Brian, Minister Brian Blair, and Minister Dr. Marlene Blair. I and the family. I am so proud of you guys. Best wishes to you in your pursuit. Best wishes to
Thank,
you.
Thank
thank you,
you.
thank you, and thank you for having us. God
Us.
bless
See.
you,
Thank you.
I
and
am
thank
so
everyone
proud.
for
It's my
watching.
My pleasure to have you. All right, my friends, you're gonna stay right there, Blair, until I get off. Then we'll say goodbye, as they call it in the green room. So when I say goodbye,
Yes.
I'm not saying goodbye to you. We'll say goodbye to you when we are offline. All right,
Yes.
my friends, thank you for joining me on Let's Talk with the Doc. I'm happy that you join us. I hope that you have been inspired by this family and by these young people. I hope that if you have young people in your home, in your family, in your lives, that you'll let them watch this video, whether they go watch it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. They can find it to watch it. Let them sit down and listen to the inspiration and the dream and aspiration of these young people, how they're able to detail what they're pursuing and how they have a grasp on it, so they can know that, hey, if you haven't been there, if you're not there, you can get there too. Hey, you can do it. Until next time, thank you for joining me, and let's talk with the doc. And by the way, if you have a good story and you'd like to share it, the door is open. Email me at orbministries@gmail.com. Chances are you can become a guest on Let's Talk with the Doc. Or if you know somebody who has a great story, whether it be struggles that they have been victorious, ministry that they have gone through, and they want to share that, hey, the platform is here. We can talk. So until next time, I will see you. And by the way, I'm also on TikTok. I can't wait to get Let's Talk with the Doc on TikTok. Right now, I can do a lot on TikTok, but I can't wait for them to give me studio access that I can go TikTok on my PC. Then I'll be streaming live. Let's Talk with the Doc. But for now, you can follow me. ORB Ministry is everywhere. Go check it out. And you'll find me. We're taking ministry where we can go with it. Until next time, I will see you again, my friends. Have a wonderful evening. Don't forget, you can still share it with your friends because others might be inspired by just you hitting your share button. I see you next week on Let's Talk with the Doc.
Well, thank you for checking in on ORB Ministries. I trust that you will share with your friends, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, and stay tuned because you never know what's next or who will join the conversation.